Team of the Week is sponsored by The Good Estate Agent. With an average turnaround time of 3 weeks, if you want your house sold quickly, then contact Stefan today on 01942 356 577. Quote Super League Raw for 33% off. It's the Super League Raw Team of the Week for Magic Round 2025 of the Good Estate Agent. Here we go again. A fullback is Jai Field. Ever wondered what a slalom skier would look like on a rugby pitch? Well, then wonder no more. Some beautiful weaving runs once more from Field, but Alberto Tomba, to shame. Talk about a gold standard. At 2 is Jake Fulis, just like a spoonful of sugar. His 2 tries help the Wire in the most delightful way to put fear in the hearts of the Warriors. You could say he was supercalifragilistic. You know where I'm going with that one. At 3, forget Petter, more like Petri Hiku, as this performance was once more a bit of a dish, wasn't it? This effort was not microscopic, it was chromoscopic on the retina. At 4 is Adam Kieran, who not only provided the goals that were decisive, but also that Matt Duffy could be considered a beef stew in a tackle. He just was not strong enough. At 5 is Lachlan Walmsley of Wakefield Trinity, who produced a display as delightful as sipping cocktails on the beach on a summer's evening. For the Tigers, it was a little bit whiskey sour, but for the Trin, it was as smooth and as creamy as a strawberry daiquiri. Chin chin! At 6 is Jake Connor of the Leeds Rhinos. For too long, Jake has been like a broken pencil, pointless, but this year he's like Charles Dickens' quill, producing some elegant strokes and providing the Rhinos faithful with great expectations. At 7 is Mason Lino, who led his hands, not shoulders, through the talking. This week, you have to feel for Danny Maguire, as it must have felt like he had a bladder infection, as when Lino is on this form, you're in trouble. At 8, and on debut for the Leopards and Team of the Week is Joe Offengawa, who appears monstrous on first showing. The man known as Joffa should not be mistaken for a Jaffa cake, as his tackles are far from sweet and soft. At 9 is the man who is a cross between a sheep and a car, Zach Wolford. You better believe it, folks, his runs from dummy half were looming marvellous, and his tackles would have wrote off any Mondeo. At 10 is Caius Fatale of Wakefield Trinity, whose try was as hot and as tasty as a sizzling plate of the finest steak. Speaking of fajitas, he rounded Tex as easy as breaking in to a crunchy taco. You Barretto, believe it. At 11 is Morgan Gannon of the Leeds Rhinos, who was NRL-esque versus the Saints. Just like Gammon, Gannon's presentation was well-rounded, was accompanied with a fine, luxurious, yolky try, but was just a little too salty on the Saints' palate. At 12 is Ethan O'Neill of the Lee Leopards. He can play rugby standing on his head, you know. Just like a newborn baby in a topless bar, it must be confusing playing against such a tremendous talent for any opposition. And finally, at 13 is Leroy Cudjoe, who just like Leroy Brown in Crocodile Dundee 2 has a reputation to protect. He needn't worry, as just like a man who has his left side cut off, he's alright, is our Leroy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Team of the Week for round number 10, Magic Round.